Here's what women won't admit out loud. When we lose a good man, we don't realize it immediately. We tell ourselves we made the right choice. We convince ourselves we're fine. But then certain moments happen, and when they do, we can't stop replaying what we lost. I'm going to reveal 5 specific triggers that make a woman realize she lost something she'll never find again. These aren't theories. This is what happens in our minds that we'll never say to your face. Here's what you need to understand. When a woman rejects a man or pulls away from him, her brain doesn't immediately process what she lost. Instead, it goes into justification mode. We rationalize the decision. We focus on the reasons we left. We tell ourselves stories about why it was the right move. That's the psychological defense mechanism kicking in. Because admitting we made a mistake, admitting we lost someone valuable, that hits the ego hard. So our minds protect us from that pain by creating a narrative where we're fine, where we made the smart choice, where we're better off. But here's the thing. That defense only lasts so long, because life has a way of testing those narratives. And when specific moments happen, moments that trigger comparison, moments that expose what's missing, moments that remind her of what she had, that's when the defense breaks down. That's when regret hits. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific moments when this happens. 5 psychological triggers that shatter her justifications and make her face the truth. She lost something real. Something irreplaceable. And most painful of all, she lost it by her own choice. The first moment hits when she least expects it. 1. When she sees you've genuinely moved on. This is the moment that catches us completely off guard. Because when we pull away from you or reject you, there's a part of us that expects you to stay stuck. We expect the text asking what went wrong, the posts that seem aimed at us, the mutual friends reporting that you're asking about us. We don't consciously think that, but psychologically, we expect you to remain in our orbit. So when we check your social media and see you're actually thriving, when mutual friends casually mention you're doing great, when we notice you've genuinely moved forward without us, something shifts inside. At first, it's just curiosity. Wait, he's not affected. He's not struggling. He's actually happy. Then it becomes something uncomfortable. Because we realize we no longer have that power over you. The power to affect your mood, to occupy your thoughts, to influence your emotions. That power we maybe took for granted, it's gone. And here's what you need to understand about women. We hate losing influence more than we hate losing the relationship. When we see that you're fine, genuinely fine, it triggers something psychological called loss aversion. We suddenly feel like we're losing something valuable, even if we're the ones who walked away. Your social media shows you at the gym, focused on your goals, spending time with friends, genuinely living your life, not posting sad quotes, not subtly trying to get our attention, just existing in a space where we no longer matter. That's when the thoughts start. The late night scrolling through old photos, the wondering if we made a mistake, the checking to see if you're seeing someone new, the sudden urge to reach out for no real reason. We'll analyze your stories for clues. Who's that person in the background? Why does he look so happy? Because the man who's moved on is infinitely more attractive than the man who's stuck waiting. And when we see you've actually let go, when we realize you're not sitting around thinking about us, it flips the entire dynamic. We went from feeling powerful to feeling powerless. From feeling chosen to feeling forgotten. From being the prize to wondering if we just lost something we can't get back. But that's just the surface. The next moment cuts even deeper. Because it's not about what we see. It's about what we feel. 2. When someone else treats her poorly. This is where retrospective appreciation hits hard. Because when we're with you, when we have your patience, your consistency, your emotional maturity, we often don't recognize it as special. We think that's just how relationships work. We think we can find that anywhere. Then we meet someone else. Someone new. Someone exciting. And at first, it feels different in a good way. The unpredictability feels like passion. The inconsistency feels like mystery. The emotional unavailability feels like a challenge. But then reality sets in. He doesn't text back for hours, sometimes days. He makes plans and cancels last minute. He's hot and cold, affectionate one day and distant the next. He says things that sting, then laughs it off like it's nothing. He makes us feel like we're asking for too much when we want basic respect. And that's when the comparison starts. That's when we remember how you used to respond to our texts. How you showed up when you said you would. How you were steady, consistent, emotionally present. How you never made us feel crazy for having basic needs. Here's the psychological mechanism at play. It's called the contrast effect. When we experience something negative, our brain automatically compares it to past positive experiences. And suddenly, what we took for granted becomes painfully clear. We thought your consistency was boring. Now we realize it was reliability. We thought your availability meant you had nothing else going on. Now we understand it meant we were a priority. We thought your emotional stability was lack of passion. Now we see it was maturity. The new guy who seemed so exciting. He's just emotionally unavailable. The mystery we found attractive. It's just poor communication. The challenge we thought we wanted. It's just inconsistency disguised as complexity. And here's the brutal truth we won't admit out loud. We start missing you in the moments when he fails us. When he doesn't show up emotionally, we remember how you always did. When he disappoints us, we think about how you rarely ever did. When he makes us feel small, we recall how you made us feel valued. It's not even about still having feelings for you. It's about the stark realization that we downgraded, that we left stability for chaos, that we traded someone who treated us well for someone who treats us like an option. And that realization, it stings in a way that has nothing to do with missing you, and everything to do with recognizing our own poor judgment. But here's where it gets really interesting. The third moment is about timing. 3. When life gets hard and she remembers your support. This moment is about timing and vulnerability. Because when everything in our life is going well, when we're strong and independent and handling things on our own, we don't think about the emotional support we gave up. We don't miss the safety net we walked away from. But life doesn't stay easy. Life throws challenges at us. Stress at work. Family problems. Health scares. Financial pressure. Moments when we feel completely overwhelmed and alone. And in those moments of vulnerability, our brain does something automatic. It searches for safety. It looks for the person who made us feel secure when everything else was falling apart. That's when we remember you. We remember the night we broke down crying over something that seemed small but felt massive. And you just held us. You didn't try to fix it. You didn't tell us we were overreacting. You just made us feel like it was okay to fall apart, because you'd be there to help us piece ourselves back together. We remember when we were stressed about work. And instead of minimizing it, you asked what you could do to help. You brought us food. You rubbed our shoulders. You reminded us we were capable even when we felt like we were failing. We remember how you showed up. Not just physically, but emotionally. How you could sense when something was wrong before we even said it. How you knew when we needed to talk and when we just needed silence and presence. Here's the psychology behind this. It's called nostalgia triggered by stress. When we're in crisis, our brain automatically recalls moments when we felt safe. And if you were that person who provided safety, who created that secure space for us, you become the standard we compare everyone else to. The current person in our life, If there is one, he might tell us to calm down. He might offer logical solutions when we need emotional support. He might make us feel like we're being dramatic when we're genuinely struggling. But you understood. You made space for our emotions without judgment. You were our anchor when everything else felt chaotic. And the painful realization hits. We had someone who showed up for us in our worst moments, and we let him go. We took that emotional support for granted, assuming we'd find it again somewhere else. But we haven't, and we're starting to wonder if we ever will. In those vulnerable moments, late at night when we're stressed and overwhelmed, we find ourselves thinking about texting you. Not because we want you back necessarily, but because our brain remembers you as safety. And when life gets hard, safety is what we crave most. But the fourth moment, this is where the regret becomes undeniable. 4. When she sees other women value you. This is where our ego takes a hit. It wasn't prepared because we can handle you moving on. We can even handle you being happy. But watching another woman appreciate what we walked away from, that's a completely different psychological trigger. Here's what happens. We hear through mutual friends that someone's interested in you, or we see her commenting on your posts, or we notice you're spending time with someone new. And our first reaction isn't sadness. It's not even jealousy in the traditional sense. It's this uncomfortable question. What does she see that I didn't? Because when we rejected you or pulled away, we created a narrative about why you weren't enough. Maybe we told ourselves you were too available, too predictable, too safe. We built this story to justify our decision. But now another woman is choosing you. Another woman is seeing value in exactly what we dismissed. And that shatters our entire narrative. Here's the psychology at work. It's called the pre-selection effect. When we see that another woman wants you, it automatically increases your value in our eyes. It's not logical. It's primal. If she sees something worth pursuing, maybe we missed something. Maybe we were wrong. And that possibility, that we might have been wrong, that's what eats at us. Because it means we gave up something valuable. It means we made a mistake. And our ego desperately doesn't want to admit that. So we start analyzing. What does she have that I don't? Why is he giving her attention? Is she prettier? Smarter? More interesting? We compare ourselves to her in ways we never compared ourselves to anyone when we had you. We start noticing things. The way you look at her. The way you smile when you're around her. The energy between you two. And the worst part, it's the same energy we used to have with you. The same attention we took for granted. The same affection we walked away from. And here's the brutal truth. We realized she's getting the version of you we had but didn't value. She's experiencing your patience, your consistency, your emotional presence. All the things we dismissed as boring or too much. She's appreciating them. And that appreciation makes you more attractive. Because nothing makes a woman reconsider a man faster than watching another woman value him. It's not about wanting you back. It's about our ego struggling with the fact that someone else recognized what we couldn't. We went from being the one who rejected you to being the one who might have lost out. From feeling like we made the right choice to questioning if we made the biggest mistake. And now, the moment that haunts women the most. 5. When she realizes your unique qualities are irreplaceable. This is the moment that doesn't just sting. It haunts. Because this isn't about a single trigger or a specific event. This is about time passing. This is about dating other men, having other experiences, and slowly, painfully realizing that what we had with you doesn't exist anywhere else. At first, we think we'll find someone similar. Someone with your patience but more excitement. Someone with your emotional depth but more unpredictability. Someone who gives us everything you gave us, plus whatever we thought was missing. But here's what we don't understand until it's too late. You weren't a collection of individual qualities we could find separately and piece together in someone else. You were a specific combination, a unique mix of traits, behaviors, and energy that can't be replicated. We meet men who are patient, but they lack your emotional intelligence. We meet men who are emotionally available, but they don't have your strength. We meet men who make us feel safe, but they can't challenge us intellectually. We meet men who are exciting, but they can't provide stability. And after enough time, after enough disappointments, the pattern becomes clear. We're not looking for a man anymore. We're looking for you in every man we meet. And we keep coming up empty. Here's the brutal psychology behind this. It's called the irreplaceability realization. The human brain naturally seeks patterns and comparisons, and when we date enough people, when we experience enough relationships, our brain starts recognizing that certain combinations are rare. Some are one of a kind. You were one of a kind. The way you listened, really listened, without trying to fix everything. The way you could be strong without being controlling. The way you made us feel both independent and supported at the same time. The way you knew when to push us and when to just hold space for us. These weren't skills you learned from a book. This was who you were. And we can't find that in a training manual or a dating app. We can't manifest it or attract it or pray for it. Because it was specifically you. And here's the most painful part. This realization doesn't fade with time. It gets stronger. Because the more people we meet, the more we confirm what we already know deep down. We lost something we'll never find again. Years can pass, and we'll still think about you. Not because we're hung up on you, but because you've become the standard we compare everyone to. The benchmark of what a good man actually looks like. The memory of what we should have held on to. That's the regret that haunts us. Not the regret of losing you in that moment, but the permanent regret of knowing we'll spend the rest of our lives comparing everyone to a man we let go. Here's what you need to understand about all of this. Her regret isn't about you needing validation. It's about her delayed recognition of value. The same value you had all along, whether she saw it or not. These 5 moments, they're not about making her suffer. They're about understanding the psychology of regret so you can stop questioning your worth. Because when a woman realizes what she lost, it's not your responsibility to be there waiting. It's not your job to accept her back. It's not even about her anymore. It's about you recognizing that you were valuable the entire time. That her inability to see it doesn't diminish it. That her regret, when it comes, is simply confirmation of what you already knew. The right woman won't need to lose you to appreciate you. She won't need 5 painful moments to realize what she has. She won't take your patience, your consistency, your emotional presence for granted. She'll value it from day one because she's emotionally mature enough to recognize quality when she sees it. So don't aim to be the man women regret losing. Aim to be the man who knows his worth and chooses a woman who sees it from the start. That's real power. That's how you win. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a woman come back after regretting losing you? What was the moment that triggered her regret? Drop your story in the comments. I'll be reading and replying because these conversations matter. This is where real growth starts. Share this with a brother who needs to hear this truth. Hit subscribe for more content that helps you understand female psychology and grow into a man who inspires respect naturally. Because here's the bottom line. Her regret proves you were valuable. But you don't need her regret to know your worth. You already are unforgettable. The only question is, are you choosing women who recognize that from the beginning?